Hey guys, good evening. Dean of DVD decided to make a video. They made it so easy now with YouTube. I used to have to make it on iMovie and add a bunch of graphics and fancy stuff and intros and outros. And now I'm just going to record right to here. It's easier. And I actually prefer it. To get some water here. I want to talk about collecting. I've collected a lot of things in my life. I'm sure a lot of you have. Certainly DVDs and Blu-rays. A lot of you who watch this channel are collecting DVDs and Blu-rays. I don't collect them as much anymore. I certainly have a collection, but as far as going out looking for them, buying them, I've kind of moved into something else. Although I still keep my DVDs and Blu-rays. But I want to talk about collecting, why we do it, some of the steps of collecting, and then I'm going to talk about board games, which is what I'm collecting now, and why I feel like board games are a pretty good thing to collect. So I'll get into that. Let's see. I remember collecting rocks when I was a kid. One of the first things I collected because they were free. Yeah, it was free and it was easy to do. And then the next thing I remember was I had a box full. Is what it was. Remember baseball cards, football cards, basketball cards. When I was, I guess, in elementary school, probably into middle school. And somewhere in that same range, I collected comic books, and those lasted me for a while. In fact, I still have, I don't know, 300 or 400 comic books probably in the house someplace. I had more than that. I had double or triple that at one point. I had a lot of the Fantastic Four comic books and a lot of the Spider-Man comic books. And unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, I sold them for more than, well, way more than I paid for them, but far less than I could get for them now. But that's always going to be true, right? It's always a supply and demand thing. If you need I needed the money then. I don't need it as much now. So even though it would have been more money now, fast forward from that to probably, you can make a case for video games, I guess. I don't know if I collected them per se, but I had a bunch of them, and the idea was that I'd see another one I wanted. Thought when I had kids, thought the kids would like to play them, or I would play them with them. Then a new console would come out, and I would get that and get the games for that, and so on and so forth. Did that for a while, and then Blu-rays and DVDs were something that I wanted to do. Come across, it was DVDs first, and then later Blu-rays, and I don't know exactly what happened or why it started. I always liked movies, so that was probably part of it. The idea of having a collection, I'm looking at some of them right now. The idea of having a collection to be able to go through and find a movie I want to watch and watch it when I wanted to watch it was great. But now with Netflix and a lot of the things that I can find a movie often, not always, but often I can find it. Excuse me. And so, and with digital, it's easy to get that. Also with renting, I can rent for I think $3 or $2. I can rent a movie. So there's less and less reasons to own movies these days for me. Although, as I point out to other people, you won't always be able to get Friends on Netflix. At some point, that license or whatever they're paying to get it, they won't pay it. They'll switch to, I think they're switching to Seinfeld actually. I think they are stopping Friends. So I have the collection of Friends, the Blu-ray, because my wife loves Friends. I have the whole series on Blu-ray. I have All in the Family, because you can't always see that. I have Star Trek, because I like Star Trek. So there's certain things, especially the television series. The movies, I've got more movies than anything else, but those are the things that are probably somewhat expendable for me. The criterions are hard, because you can't always see those kind of movies. So those are somewhat still collectible. But let me talk about Blu-rays. I have a stack here, and I can talk a little bit about why Blu-rays and why we collect in general. So hold on one second. Let me grab something. All right. I've got a big case here. It's a drum kit. I got it on Amazon. I'll show it to you. It's something I can transport board games in. So when I go to somebody's house, I can transport, yeah, I can transport this big case full of board games, and it holds. It was this is some sort of a drum here, supposedly. This Mino, I guess it's called. So inside of this, you should be able to see in a second. There are, yeah, a bunch of board games. Yeah, quite a few actually. I put it down on the floor so I get at them a little easier. I want to talk about some of them and why collecting board games is a good thing. Let me start with this one, which is a rather more expensive one that just came out. I'm number 20,645 of 25,000. So I was a little late getting into the pledge. It wasn't a Kickstarter. It was a buy early pledge. So you can see my number right there. The artwork on this is really nice. It's a heavy game. Beautiful artwork on it though. Pretty sturdy box lid. Put that over there. Why board games? Well, first of all, whether it be comic books or baseball cards or rocks, or Blu-rays and DVDs, one of the things I used to love to do is look at my collection. Just stand back and look at it and say, I own these. There's a sense of, I don't know, maybe it's pride, maybe it's, I don't know what it is, but it was something to be as Falagar, Sam says, to showcase, to show and tell, to say, look at this great looking game I have. It's really cool. By the way, it smells really good. It is this really cool looking. Isn't the artwork on this really neat looking? And isn't the tapestry kind of evocative here? And you wonder like what's going on in this town and what's with the tapestries and who lives here? And there's a lot of imagination going on with the artwork. That's part of it. Part of it is it's an interactive thing. Movies aren't always. I have a lot of movies that nobody wants to watch in the house but me. I also have some games that nobody wants to play in this house, but I can take them to somebody else's house and have a game night, which we do. With Blu-rays and DVDs, whenever I would watch one, I always like to have artwork with it, a little booklet where I can flip through, and that was true for CDs. I forgot about CDs. I used to collect CDs too, or record albums before that. I used to like the record album with the big sleeves in it, and you have the lyrics, and you look at the lyrics and read the lyrics while you were, or if it had an open fold like Sgt. Pepper's or something, you'd have the artwork on the inside and lyrics on the inside. I like that. I like the fact that I could look at something more than just the music or just the movie that was on, that I could go to something. Well, here, you get all sorts of stuff. You've got the directions, the rules, and usually they're printed off in, sometimes they're big booklets. This one just has 4 pages, but then you've got components. In this case, cool things in a bag like this that are going to be able to go onto a map. Then you've got these big cards. This with really cool artwork on them. These are the tapestry cards for this particular game. This one almost has a sandpaper feel to this. It's kind of cool. The whole card is like that. You really can't tell, but it's a matte finish. You can see that on there. You can see the texture of that, but each one of these cards has some pretty cool artwork, I think, anyway. Give me a quick look at some of them. Each one of these is a, actually these are not the tapestry cards, I take it back. These are the civilizations that you can start as in the game, so you get one of these to start. Usually, it's been a long day. Historians. Merrymakers, that sounds good. The Chosen. Okay, I'd like to be the Chosen. The Entertainers. And there's others, there's another half dozen. But I'll give you an idea. The bigger cards, easier to read. Each one has these charts that can mean something. I haven't deciphered this game yet, so I can't tell you what it means, but it's something to do with trading in things and abilities that they have on here. And so there's some text that go with it that explains some of what's going on with this particular race or civilization. It isn't a civilization here. I'm not sure really. You're not building a civilization, but in fact you are. You will be part of a civilization. More things you can look at here. Then you've got the beautiful board. This one has two sides, depending on how many people you're playing with. So one is made for more people. One is made for 1 to 3. And the other side is much bigger. Has a much bigger map in the center there. That's for 4 to 6. And you get all sorts of other stuff to look at. I can't go through everything, but the sideboard used to keep track of some things. Every player gets one of these to play with. And you put stuff on there, and then you make decisions in the game, which is nice. So not only do you have things to look at, let me put this back, but then you have things, like I said, that you can touch and feel. To me, collecting is very much about that, about being able to touch and feel and show off still, and then you can play it. So when I was collecting anything, but let's reference it for Blu-ray for board games now. Part of it is deciding what I want to get, and in some cases it's finding a deal. Now with board games, you wouldn't think you'd be able to, right? Where are you going to find a deal? Well, there's all sorts of places on eBay. Board Game Geek is another place, it's called, where you can find people selling things for less money than maybe they're worth. Also, you can go to certain stores. I had a couple really great deals, both off of Craigslist. Or actually, one's Craigslist and one Facebook. The Craigslist one was unbelievable. I have a video of it somewhere on my Dean of Games channel. I had like $150, and I probably got $2,000 worth of board games out of it. In fact, I sold one of them for $500, including shipping. I shipped it to Belgium. And again, I paid $150 for the whole thing, so that paid for it 3 times over. And I've also sold some other things, and from that group, I don't remember how much I sold them for, 50 here, 60 there. And then I also traded, and then maybe sold some of those. So, but yeah, there's something to be said. This is very heavy. It's about 5 pounds, this box. A lot of stuff in it. I didn't get to all of it. There's 18 hand-painted landmark miniatures. That's what they look like. Actually come painted in the box. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. And you can play this one solo. And you can play with up to 6 people. So, I believe it's 6. 1 to 5, I'm sorry. 1 to 5 players. I don't usually have 6 anyway. So, board games, finding what you want, kind of scoping it out, getting deals. When you finally do get it, when it arrives in a big box in the mail, and much bigger to get a big box in the mail than a little thing with a Blu-ray in it, in my opinion, or with a CD in it, or with a comic book in it. These games are all pretty big. I got this one the other day. My daughter-in-law picked it up for me. It was this and the expansion for $20. This game's out of print. It sells for $166 on Amazon. And you can find it on eBay for something like that. It's in perfect shape. A lot of cool things about this game, Cuba. Just before Catherine took over, I believe. But you've got a rule book. You've got a cool looking board. The board does look really cool actually in this. It's I believe it's probably Havana, but I don't know. In any event, it's a really cool looking town in Cuba. Look at that. Beautiful. And then you have, there's only one side to that. Everybody gets a player board, and they're all a little different. You can have them where you're all the same. They're 2-sided. So one side is everybody has this side with a blue truck in the upper corner. Then if you switch, and you each have your own color. It's purple, yellow, and red, and green, and blue. And you have various fields you can grow things in. Cool. There's a political aspect to this where you vote on certain bills. Essentially, whoever has the most points, certain type of points, persuasive points, let's call them. Just gets to vote whoever they want and pick whoever they want. But you can also buy those influence points. So if you stay close and you want to spend a few bucks, you can influence taxes and things like that. Maybe make sure the taxes are something you own a lot of, as opposed to something you have nothing of. Yeah, it's a cool game. Have not played it yet, but it looks really good. The artwork and everything is really good, so maybe do something with that. There's just a lot of cool games. I have one here that's called A Touch of Evil. That's about vampire hunting. So you go out to hunt vampires. That's a cooperative game. So you can play where you're competitive, who gets the most points, or we're all in it together, guys. Let's do this. Let's try to stop this vampire. And I think there's a lot to be said for playing the board games, because I'll look at these things when no one's around, like tonight, and no one's going to play tonight. But I'll open up the stuff, look through it, read the rules, learn the game, maybe set up and play a little bit so I know the game better. A lot of hands-on with this stuff. More than Blu-rays, more than comics, more than CDs or record albums, more than my rock collection or my sports collection of baseball cards and such. Just really cool. Now, the only problem is they take up a lot of space. So I've got a room that's half DVDs and Blu-rays and half board games. It's crowded. But I enjoy it. So, okay, so that's it for now. Hopefully you enjoy this. Why we collect? We want to have something we can hold on to, something that we can occupy our time with, something we enjoy, either looking at, listening to, or doing, or a combination. All right, take care, Dean of DVD. Till next time.